I gotta make it known. This is my second time recording this, y'all. And I literally, I don't know. What is the question? How do I be like this? Hey, sweeties. I am Kara Elaine, and I want to thank you for joining me on my channel. The real question of this moment, like, your girl uploaded a video. She uploaded a video. What does that mean? What is happening? It means, like, the big question is, girl, where you been at? Like, 2023 happened. We're now in the new year. Yeah, I haven't posted a video since 2021. Where you been? So we're going to get into that. But this video is all about journaling, to reflect and honor what you've been through in the past year. And I like to do this exercise because it fuels so much growth for the new year and so much healing. When I do this exercise, it allows me to see where I've been so that I can really intentionally set where I'm going. I already have the questions. I have used these year after year, and I've even compared years where I did it and where I didn't. And yeah, pray for your girl. So I recommend that you join me in doing this, and just know that you're gonna feel lighter and you're gonna feel proud, and you're gonna remember that you indeed are that girl and that you're ready to set those 2024 goals. Please do like this video and subscribe to my channel. Like, what are you waiting for? Hit the button, hit the button. So grab your journal or grab, your phone where you want to write. We're going to go ahead and get started. In 2023, I really locked in on discernment. I, in the past, have very much so been someone who tries to be agreeable, who tries to be extremely open-minded with others. There's nothing wrong with those things, but there is something wrong with them when they go against what your gut is telling you, what your intuition is telling you, and what you know you need, what you desire for your life. And allowing myself to really speak up about, this is how it will be, this is how it won't be. And that's that on that. Some ways I think that can show up for me, or has shown up for me, is in the workplace. I have had experiences where I haven't been treated right and I haven't known how to address it. I don't have that problem anymore. I know exactly how to address it. I've dealt with that in my personal life, of being on the fence about certain things I'm comfortable with and certain things I'm not. And it's gotten to a point where it's like, why are you on the fence about that? If you're on the fence, that means something. Like, stand on it. I really honed in on being brave in how I stand in my truth and how I use my voice to empower what matters to me, and to not shy away from that. And that has been so many years in the making, probably over a decade in the making. So that feels really good to say. Giving my life to Christ, I literally have grown up in the church my whole life. And it wasn't until really last year that something in me, it changed. I found myself in a space where I just really, really, really wanted a relationship with God, a personal knowing of God. It's one thing to know about Him, but to actually connect with Him, like genuinely and authentically, is something totally different. And it's something I've never truly had or even known how to do. It's a decision for me that has given me so much joy. It has not by any means made my life easier. Giving my life to Christ has given me reassurance and just like security. In my flesh, I really don't have access to peace. I can search the whole world trying to find this peace. Your girl ain't found it until she found Jesus. I think the biggest thing that comes from this is that means I have to challenge how I think, how I move, my character. That means I have to change, right? And that's scary. It's extremely hard. Even without honestly changing a thing, it's like God has me, and that feels so good. That feels really good, to be loved as you are. Even knowing that I'm loved as I am, to know that I can just keep growing and keep healing, that creates so much hope in my spirit. Like, that gives me so much more to live for. Shout out to my gang. This is the gang sound that my jack is making. Shout out to my tribe, because they are all up and through the major pieces of advice and just like quotes that I was able to take. And I have to admit, I don't even know if the people in my life said this to me in 2023, but when I heard and truly received it was in 2023. And so we'll start with my bestie. She said to me, "That ain't you." And I was like, It maybe didn't quite hit me in that moment, but with what I was going through last year, it really stood out to me. It helped me stand on my business, stand on who I am, and feel comfortable in that. And I think so many of these things are interconnected, because that connects to my piece on discernment. And that also flows into something that my husband said to me, which is really having the proper, expectation. I guess the best expectation to have of others is really no expectation at the end of the day. When we do have these expectations, and expectations that are unspoken, undiscussed, not communicated, those types of things lead us to being hurt, lead us to feel like we've been done wrong. When really, have we? Have we communicated what we need, what we want from our relationships? And sometimes that's not the case. Being reminded to be a communicator is huge. And then even with that, Luke chapter 6, verses 46 through 49, huge. It's all about having a solid foundation. I think about it as building like your heart, your mind, making sure your soul is built on this solid foundation. Everything else will have to stand on that. And it has to be solid. I don't think I gotta say nothing else. I think it speaks for itself. Not every time, but just about any time I kind of traveled, even if it was just to like the state next door, it still really stood out to me. Me and my husband, we went to a Dodgers game in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a really wild trip because it was like 24 hours to go to this game, middle of the work week. And we did it, and we kind of couldn't believe we did it. We stayed out all night, had a really good time. We felt like kind of like kids again. It was really beautiful. So I went to Carlsbad. I went to Carlsbad, California for a work conference. And then I was like, man, if I'm gonna go all the way out there and one of my besties lives in LA, why would I not go see her? And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna be out there to see her, I got another friend who loves to travel. And I was like, she could probably meet me out there for some fun too. So I just made it into a whole week, had a time. And I think it's been a long time since I've traveled alone, to be honest. And so just doing that felt so good. It felt so like it was giving girls trip, okay? Another fun thing, I went to do one of those getaway cabins with my husband. It was a time. We went to Columbus, Indiana, and I live in Indiana, so this isn't like some major trip, but it was amazing. There's actually a lot to do out there in the middle of nowhere. So clearly it's not the middle of nowhere, it's somewhere, okay? This is so many other people's highlight, but the Renaissance tour. But I went to see her in New Orleans. NOLA is one of my favorite cities to visit. I have been there 1,000 times, and I will be going 1,000 more. Man, I never, ever would have thought that I would have a career at this point in time where one of my greatest moments of joy was a work trip, a travel trip while I was working. We did this influencer summit, and yeah, we blew it out the park. It was so much fun. I learned so much. Towards the end of the year, right before Christmas, me and my husband, we went to New York. New York is like one of our favorite places to go. And we had a time in the cold, okay? We was eating good. Two things really happened for me. So one, I work full time. I'm a graduate student and I have a business. And I decided to not only do the school thing and the work thing, but to also do vendor events. I think it was great because it gave me experience and it gave me confidence that I can, because I had a lot of doubts and just like fear surrounding that because it's stepping out of my comfort zone, But because I was always working, I didn't ever check in with myself. I wasn't able to take care of myself. I really got to a point where I really could not completely control my emotions. I was burned out. So the last 6 of the months of the year, I decided I would just focus in on school and focus in on work. And the most beautiful thing that came from that is I found out that I can graduate earlier than expected. And then the other part too of that is, for the first time ever, I took off the last 2 weeks of the year. I'm so thankful for it. In that time, man, God spoke to me. I got to spend so much quiet time with God and so much time just being. Okay, so for me, this question is the one, not the 2 or the 3. Just where I am at 30. I think what's so mind-blowing about where I am now is this isn't what I had imagined for me. Like, for me, I wanted to accomplish a lot of self-fulfilling things. Like, there were a lot of things I wanted to be able to say I did. Kara did this. I did this. I did that. Not third person. Which, in retrospect, just because you can't say those things doesn't mean you won't, that they're not on the way. But it's just like, that's not your season. Right now, my season is like so family oriented, so like career oriented. It's so like gaining knowledge to grow my business oriented. I've just been blessed with so many things that I never imagined. And I think what's beautiful about that is that God has authored my life as it stands today so beautifully, much more beautiful and much more selfless than I had imagined for myself. Friendship has been everything. And since I'm like grown now, even when I think about my relationship with my parents, like friendship. When I think about my relationship with my siblings, friendship. When I think about who my siblings have married, friendship. You know, my girlfriends, friendship. When I think about me and my husband's relationship, it's built on friendship. Everything's like built on just like this friendship of togetherness, connectedness, and support. Shout out to all my strong friends out there. For all the strong sweeties, stand up, stand up. Hold your hand high, hold your head up high. I see you. When you are perceived as like that strong person, people are always coming to you for like what to do, what to do, what to do. And you be like, well, dang, I don't even know what to do with myself. Sometimes, because I am so used to being in that category of strong, is to be in the category of I need help. My biggest breakthrough has been asking for help from my professor, who I admire so much. I finally just asked her for some help with my business. She is very, very adept in that area. That's my big leap of faith, because in the past, for a very long time, I have forgone help just because my anxiety has gotten in the way. The idea of asking for help in the past has really crippled me, make me feel like I'm inadequate. And then couple that with being Black, being a woman, like, oh, they're gonna think I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, they're gonna think I don't know. I'm 30. I do not know. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. But there are people in this world who do, who have done it, seen it, can introduce me to others who do what I want to do or do something like it. It has been such a relief to release the need to be strong and to know, to just let it go. Without me actually even realizing that I did it, I recognized my need for God. And I didn't really fully understand how I even got to that place toward the end of the year until I started to go back and read my journal toward the beginning of the year. And at that point, even then, I was identifying my need for God and to not want to do this alone anymore. That put me then on the journey of, do I even know who God is? And I think the most basic answer to that at that point was obviously no. Like, obviously no. That's a lot of the reason I haven't been able to build a relationship with him. I literally don't even know who he is. So problematic. I basically got myself a journal, devotional type study thing so that I could understand the character of God. If you want to know what that was, let me know. leave a comment, okay? I will let you know. I'll send you that link, boo. For a long time, and I think really your 20s, you're always so worried about your identity. And I've spent a lot of time like, what is my identity? My identity, like, who am I? Who am I? Like, if I remove what I have, what I do, like, who am I? And I realized, like, I can't even begin to answer that until I know who God is. And then it's like, if I know who God is, then maybe I can start to understand who He has called me to be. And who He has called me to be will dictate who I actually am. And more importantly, who God says I am is who I am. This one sets you up for what you're thinking about for goal setting for the next year. So my 3 words are celebrate, inspire, and truth. When I think about celebrate, baby, I got lots to celebrate. And I'm going to try my best to bring y'all along that journey. And then inspire. I think inspire has a lot to do with this YouTube channel, honestly, and my blog. Like, I just want to use that to inspire, to build a community. We need that. I need that. My heart swells and just kind of overflows when I think about some of the communities that I have been a part of online that have been there for me when, when I need it most. And then when I think about truth, it's just like the truth of who God is and who God says I am. I want to live in that truth. I want to be in that truth. Don't forget to like this video. Seriously, we already went through this. Make sure you subscribe, because how can we celebrate together if you're not subscribed? You know what I'm saying? Until next time, be beautiful, keep life sweet, and never stop feeding your soul. I love you so much, sweeties.